A special announcement, ladies and gentlemen. We are now operating a YouTube channel featuring clips from Spencer Walsh Radio Network programming, including Newsflash. We have some new videos up on there, so go check it out. It only has 4 subscribers right now. Not very good. The link for this is in the description. So if you want to go and you want to come in and boost that channel up, check out some content from SW and curate it the best. Maybe you just want to get some of the best top clips, then subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's Spencer Walsh. The link to it will be in the description. Hello everyone, we have a great show for you today. We are talking about a whole host of very interesting things, including the latest, the state of play, what is going on with the coronavirus, including pressures to reopen, what is going on, why aren't we reopening yet, we will tell you, and a special shout out to all those people out there with those incredible protests. And we'll take a look at why those protests are happening. We'll take a look at some of the most interesting moments from them and who is behind them. And there is some somewhat sinister, I should say, people behind them. Also, we're going to take a look at Donna Shalala, what she's doing, and why she's in the news for a very, very bad reason, continuing really the rot of the Democratic Party. Yeah. And also, I do want to further delve into this AOC primary challenge thing just generally, so we'll be doing that as well. It is a great show for you here today on our Monday episode, or Sunday episode. Let's get right into it. So we start with latest on this coronavirus here. So across the country, governors are finding themselves caught between increasingly competitive pressures. Several said on Sunday as they balance maintaining restrictions meant to curb the spread of the coronavirus against growing frustration with restrictions and economic anguish that they cause. In Maryland and Virginia, the governors said stay-home orders would have to remain in effect until those states begin to see decreases in numbers of COVID-19 cases. Elsewhere in the nation, state officials said they would need to conduct far more testing before easing restrictions and continue facing shortages of supplies and testing kits. So this is something that is a very disturbing pressure. It's a very scary pressure, and it's something being pushed by really some of the most powerful people. It's not just the people who are some of the things that these pictures should go in history books. They should be saved in a time capsule. Those that are coming out right now. That picture of all the people in front of the State House in Michigan that came out, and the incredible shot of a woman holding a milkshake outside of Baskin-Robbins somewhere, also holding a sign that says, "Give me liberty or give me death." So pretty much what they're doing is they're going out there risking their lives and risking the lives of their families, and all the people they know, all the people they may come in contact with, just to protest the right to stuff your face at a crappy American fast food restaurant. Like that is the protest there, and it's just really some of the most fascinating pictures that have come out of this stuff. And the guy, like, literally almost getting into tears about, like, how, I can't get the lawn fertilizer that I need, whatever. It just shows you what the motivations are here, what the pressures are. And it's very, very disturbing because if you look at this, it's very similar to the Tea Party. I've seen a lot of comparisons about that because really what's going on is they're activating some of the most, like, these people, they're serving their own interests, obviously, to go get that lawn fertilizer, go get that milkshake from Baskin-Robbins, stuff your face with that disgusting America. Get it in my, I'm serving America by eating at McDonald's. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to serve America, save America by eating at McDonald's. That's how I respect and love my country, by ordering 50 Big Macs all at once and shoving them down my face to own the libs. I mean, this is literally the peak of the own the libs joke, right? Like the idea of catching coronavirus, putting yourself out there, putting your family out there to own the libs and expose them to a lethal disease. But yeah, it really is something that governors, I give them credit, they're trying to push back on as much as they possibly can, saying, quote, "We are fighting a biological war." He added the governors have been forced to fight the war without supplies we need because President Trump is just not providing them. On Sunday, he announced the administration was preparing to use the Defense Production Act to compel one U.S. facility to increase production of test swabs by over 20 million per month. Like, it's taking you long enough. I remember we were literally doing shows about this, like, 2-3 weeks ago, pushing him for the use of the Defense Production Act, and this is literally when he's just starting to stir in the right direction of possibly thinking about using it here. So the announcement came during his Sunday evening news conference as he defended his response amid criticism from governors across the country claiming that there was an insufficient amount of testing to reopen the economy anytime soon. We are calling in the Defense Production Act, Trump said. We will be getting swabs very easily. Swabs are easy. Ventilators are hard. Public health experts have said testing would need to be at least double or even triple to begin considering even a partial reopening of the country's economy, and business leaders reiterated the message in a conference call with Trump last week. And I think this is going to be very interesting because we see these different business leaders who are really weighing the economic benefits of it here, saying, like, is it bad to have a population where like 1 to 2% of the population of this country is going to die, or do we just really, no matter what, need to start the engines of the economy again? Is it like, do we keep the consumer alive here, or do we keep pushing? Like, how does this manifest? Like, what is the cost benefit analysis here? We're gonna have to do a cost benefit analysis on people's lives. We even have liberal Democratic governors, like Andrew Cuomo in New York, describing people's lives versus making money as the yin and the yang. Like, there is a incredible amount of just like not seeing, and I really feel like we are having to just fight off that same fear that just keeps coming back, that keeps pushing up. And I think it's really, as we will talk about later in the show, it's still being pushed by some of the most powerful people in the world who have these economic interests and economic incentives to deal with this. And really, they want to see the country back open because it benefits them financially. And of course, everyone wants to see the country back open, but it comes at the price of people's lives. Is that price worth it? Like, I mean, it's very disturbing. Like, how do we effectively fight against this? How do we push against this? If there is some giant push to get people to go back to work well before it is ready, and what is the effect of all these people, these relatively small coronavirus protests that have been cropping up over the country? Like, how's this going to affect? Is this going to surge hotspots? Like, there's so many people who have just really showed their asses here. It's really kind of hard to count, but governors really, they're still here insisting that testing is being hamstrung by shortages. Ralph Northam, a Democrat, said that Virginia lacked the swabs needed for tests. And Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, another Democrat, said her state could handle double or triple the current number of tests if we had the swabs or reagents. And Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland said that it was absolutely false to claim that governors were not acting aggressively enough to pursue as much testing as possible, because they're really fighting on the line here. And President Trump, he has the incentive of maybe dragging feet a little bit, slowing down the numbers, slowing down the progression of this disease, and maybe trying to make the curve, maybe trying to make things just like almost appear as best and under control as they can. We see now New York hitting a plateau, and maybe even on the downside of that plateau in certain areas, but it's very hard to say what'll happen with the rest of the country and what will happen in terms of travel from different parts of the country, the other parts of the country, and these social restrictions that are being lifted. We've already seen in some countries cases spike back up, so it's very, very tough to see. Governor Larry Hogan of Maryland said that it was absolutely false to claim the governors are not acting enough. Deborah Birx, the coronavirus response coordinator for the White House, also pushed back against criticism that not enough people were being tested, saying that every community required not every community required high levels of testing, and tens of thousands of test results were probably not being reported. She said the government was trying to predict the community by community the testing that is needed. Each will have different testing need, and that is what we are calculating now. So, and I really just, I mean, there are people like out there, like the tests are obviously, the results are not happening there. I think it's very, very clear the results that need to be produced are not happening. And what I really don't get is all these people who are just yelling at the liberal Democrats and all these crazy, corrupt WHO health officials that are stopping me from getting my McDonald's pizza or my McDonald's burger or my Baskin Robbins treats. I want my treats. Like, like I don't get why they don't turn their anger to the person who's literally managing this so ineffectively. That we see this having to close for such a long time. Like, and we are so far ahead of everyone else. That is who they should be turning their anger on, not the people who literally have no motivation just to keep you safe here. Like, this is like, I don't think they are trying to hamper President Trump, but it is quite crazy. Just before I started the show, I pulled up an interview, or not an interview, but a TV show. I didn't pull it up, actually. It was an ad that popped up. It was a conservative TV show for one of the associates of Ben Shapiro on the website, The Daily Wire. And literally the title was, quote, "It's time for civil disobedience." So that kind of shows you where they're at. And obviously Daily Wire is probably funded by not a million, but it's heavily funded by right-wing groups, a bunch of people pushing for the economy to reopen, those stonks to go up. It is a really, like that. That's, I think we have to be honest. Like, those are the motives that they're pushing there. Those are the people who they are serving. Yeah. So I think that's very, very prescient and very, very important to ignore. And it's important to not ignore. And apparently the reason for the reason why it's time for civil disobedience here is to put many, many people's lives at risk who should not necessarily be at risk. Because all those people who are like, well, the death totals, people have been revising down the death totals. Well, why do you think that is? Like, it's because social distance, sure, I mean, maybe they estimated too high, but I think a large part of it is the effectiveness of social distancing measures. Like, we've seen that work everywhere else. And the big reason why this guy, who is a member of the Daily Wire, he wanted to end or start going out in civil disobedience, is just because you had to wear a mask in order to walk down the street. Like, if you leave your apartment, you have to wear a mask. And that's really been put up everywhere. And I really highly doubt he cited a Beverly Hills as an example, and I really highly doubt that people are going to be stopping famous actors for that. But anyway, and it just shows you, I see these things, I'm just like, okay, first of all, I just don't know what to believe here. I just do not know what to believe. I don't know what's going to happen. It's very, very scary. But I do want to fully, like, before, I don't want to go along in thinking that one side is unquestionably, unfailingly right. Like, are there problems? Are there misreportings? Are there people who are making mistakes? Why they're making those mistakes? I just haven't really been able to find a clear answer on that yet, because it's very, very infuriating to find right, trusting information. So I'm definitely going to be on the lookout for that, because pretty much the question that I have is here. I know social distancing is very important. Obviously, I am going to do it. You should too. But and I think all these people protesting, all these people getting out in the streets and doing all these kind of stupid things, like, I just was kind of jaw-dropped about the incredibleness of the Baskin Robbins lady photo, which I highly recommend you look for and check out today. But I want to just, like the idea that I just don't want to really get the sense, like, listen to anybody, like, completely. I want to have a full-side perspective, and I fully want to be able to say that this stuff that they're saying here about how the fact that, like, they're miscalculating, they're putting their doomsday numbers down, like, is that true? Is that false? Like, have the projections been dropped down, which I've looked up. They have been dropped down, although not with much media fanfare, but I want to know, like, why that is, and I encourage you, if you have any questions, do some digging in that, but look for these reliable websites. Be very careful, use those researching skills that you know so well. So, and I know that's what I'm going to be doing here for you because as we continue to find more information out about this, it's something it's very, very hard to find information about, because you have a lot of things being talked about for the coronavirus, like what to do while you're at home, everything up to, like, watching that Michael Jordan documentary, right? But it's very, very hard to get answers to those kind of questions where, like, you can't really go to Breitbart, but you can't really go to the New York Times, because it's not a narrative that really satisfies either kind of point of view. And that's kind of the question I have that no one's really been able to answer. Like, no one's really been able to answer, and I get the sense it's more like social distancing has happened, but, like, I just don't want to come out and like defends people who don't deserve defending right now. But I just have not been able to see any evidence of any